time for a very in-depth tutorial on these. I somehow always gravitate towards pink, so I'm sorry for doing a lot of pink like nail designs, but for the past few months I've been doing more like gold chrome, different techniques, and I just wanted to do something a little bit more comforting. And these are quite easy. It looks quite advanced, but it is very easy. I'm gonna break it down into different steps. And I also did these olives. That is very trendy right now. And then the thumb, I get a bunch of compliments on this. I achieved this with just simple eyeshadow, so you guys can use literally products from Amazon and Shein. That's what I mainly use. You can do this literally the next day because Amazon delivers in a day. If you guys are tired of going to nail salons and spending $200 for something that you could do at home, then this video is perfect for you. Teach a bunch of girls how to do DIY nails at home, so subscribe and like if that's something that you guys are interested in. Without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. So I already removed my previous nails because I want to give you guys a very realistic rundown of how to start with Gel X. So you're going to just start with sanitizing your natural nails and wiping it with a lint-free pad. I sprayed some sanitizing alcohol. One of the best ways to make your Gel X extensions last longer is to add a lot of texture to the natural nail. The more texture it has, the better grip. So I'm using the 240 grit sanding band, and I'm going at a speed of 5,000 RPMs using my e-file and adding some texture, lightly buffing it. This is very much a light scratch. You're not damaging your natural nail or thinning them out by doing this if you do it the right way, and you don't want to add too much pressure to the natural nail. It's just a very light scratch on the first layer, the first surface of your natural nail. I get asked quite often if you have to cut down your nail in order to do extensions, but as you can see, I'm keeping my natural nail length. I'm trying to grow them out underneath the extensions, and my natural nails are very weak and fragile naturally. I feel like it's very much genetics that determine your natural nail strength, so they always need something on top, whether it's builder gel or extensions, to keep them safe. So yes, you can keep your natural nail length underneath. I hope that answers a lot of questions. And now I'm going in with my Melody Susie cuticle bit and going in one direction and lifting up the dead skin and all the little crusty bits that are stuck on the natural nail plate. And you should not be digging into your nail when doing this. Again, it's a very light pressure and it's almost like you're pushing back your cuticles and not digging into the nail. So be conscious of where the pressure is going when you do that step. And now I'm grabbing my very sharp cuticle nippers and nipping away all the white, crusty, dead skin. And definitely doing your cuticles and getting better at nail prep will help you with retention, and you will notice a big difference in how long your Gel X sets last. And while I was doing this, I did notice that these nippers are quite old, so I do have to throw them away after using this. And I recommend replacing your cuticle nippers every 3 months, I would say, just to keep them really sharp and fresh so that you don't end up injuring yourself. And yeah, the sharper the better, the more accurate you can be with your cuts. And don't worry if you make a mistake and you nip yourself. It always happens often. So just make sure that you sanitize if you nip yourself. And now I sprayed some sanitizing alcohol and I'm scrubbing it clean with this cuticle brush that I have. And I got this brush from Shein. They sell a bunch of cheap ones. And yeah, I'm just removing all the dust and oil. And you want it looking really, really crusty. So that's why I'm applying some dehydrator from Model Ones, and this step just strips away every single oil and it makes it look really crusty, and this is how you want your nails to be looking. It's really crucial that you check if your nails are evenly scratched and dehydrated before putting on any kind of gel. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but I don't put primer. I don't put primer on any clients or on myself as well. I think it's useless. I don't think it does much. That's my controversial opinion. But what I'm applying right now is just simple base coat. You guys can use base coat or gel nail glue. It doesn't really matter. You just need a thin layer of gel on there. And now I'm going in with some Appraised Gel X extensions. I think these are in Sculpted Long Almond, I think. And I'm just measuring each finger, making sure that it just covers the whole nail and that it's not too small or not too big. If you guys can't find the right size, then you can always pick the larger size and file it down to the perfect length and size. And make sure it hits sidewall to sidewall. Now, another trick to making them last super long is to add texture to the extensions as well. Whatever you did to your natural nail, you want to repeat the process with the extensions so they have some grip. So I'm evenly scratching them lightly inside where the glue is going to be. And wherever I scratched, I'm going in with the glue and leaving a little bit on the edge so that I can apply it very smoothly. So you want to apply it first at a 45-degree angle and then slowly press it down until the glue reaches the edge of your natural nail. So until it covers the whole surface, you want to push it down. And the first few times that you do this, you're definitely gonna flood your cuticles with gel nail glue, or it's not gonna reach all the way to the end, which happened to me. It happens quite often actually with my natural nail because they're way too long and I don't apply enough glue so that it reaches to the end. So I just use like a liner brush and grab some of that glue and then stick it in from the back side and then cure that again. The glue will hold after curing it for 25 seconds, but definitely after applying every single finger, you want to put it into the big lamp for 60 seconds to make sure that it's fully cured. But for just the time being, so that it's a quick process, I just put it under the lamp for 25 seconds first until the glue holds, and making sure that there is no air bubbles and no gaps, because that can actually lead to mold on your nail. And I know that sounds really scary and intimidating, but it's nothing life-threatening, or, you know, it's not going to injure your hands forever. But mold is definitely unhygienic and you want to avoid it as much as possible. So make sure that you don't leave any gaps or bubbles that are huge. It's kind of inevitable when you start doing Gel X because you're still practicing and learning. I recommend checking in on your nails every 2 weeks to make sure that there's no mold underneath if you're unsure about how you applied them. But yeah, usually if there are gaps and holes and bubbles, it's not going to last long anyway, so I think you should be okay. But just make sure that you're being very tedious with this. And the great thing with gel is it's not going to get cured unless you put it under the lamp, so you can try it as many times as you want. So now, grabbing that 240 grit buffer again, I'm going now with a little bit of a higher speed, like 8,000 RPMs, and I'm buffing the whole surface of those extensions, again adding some texture so that the grip is better and the gel won't chip. And I'm just doing that and also simultaneously blending in that extension into my natural nail so they look like just seamlessly one nail, one piece. And this is a process called sealing the cuticle. It's when you blend the extensions into the natural nail. And you guys can see I left a little bit of a gap between where I applied the extensions and where my natural nail begins. Leaving like half a centimeter there will help you really with the blending process and sealing the cuticle. It's going to be a lot easier. Also, I think it really affects retention as well. Ever since I started doing this little small step, my nails have lasted a lot longer and they don't lift at all. So that's kind of a key trick. And like I mentioned earlier, the blending process actually helps close the gaps in between your natural nail and the extension. So blending actually really helps prevent any molding or any kind of water or some kind of fluid getting in between those cracks. So now I'm going in with a ceramic bit. It's a little bit more coarse and rough, but this bit really helps seal that cuticle and blend it perfectly into the nail so that there is no gaps, absolutely no risk, and things getting stuck underneath. And especially if water gets stuck underneath the nail and you leave it there for 2 to 3 weeks, that's when moldings can happen. So this step is super, super important. And now I'm going into shaping. I just wanted to round the corners a little bit and make them look a little more smoother and skinnier. So I'm going in with my nail file and doing that. Now I'm gonna go in with my nail buffer and make sure that all the corners are smooth and not too pointy, also removing all the dust and bumps that are left on the nail. I'm just a perfectionist, so this step is really my favorite before going in with all the gels. Now this is also one of my favorite parts. I'm applying a drop of acetone around the cuticle area to blend the extensions into my natural nail. This is the last step of sealing the cuticle. Acetone melts plastic, so it melts the plastic into the nail to blend it in. And this is so satisfying. Look at those nails. They actually look like my nails. And that's exactly what you want. Now I'm going to apply a very thin layer of base coat and apply it all around the nail. Make sure not to get it on your skin, and if you do, you can always clean it up with a brush and some alcohol and acetone. But I'm making sure that it's a very even coat that just sets the best foundation and the framework for what's to come, all the gels I'm going to put on top. And yeah, sometimes people don't put base coat on top of extensions. They don't think it makes a difference. But I've kind of realized and noticed a big difference in how much my gels chip if I don't put the base coat on. But that's just my experience. So this is my all-time favorite step, and not a lot of people do this. I like to apply builder gel on top of even extensions because it just gives that perfect plump shape to the nude base. And this step is of course optional. I know a lot of people are not comfortable using a builder gel. Basically, builder gel is a thicker consistency than regular gel polish, but if you're not comfortable with a builder gel, I just recommend using a regular nude polish and applying 3 coats so that it's fully like a full nude. But since I don't like doing 3 coats and having my Gel-X so thin, I like to go in with builder gel and build the perfect apex and create the perfect pigmentation to the nude. So this is just one of my key tricks in making it look very, very expensive and luxurious. I usually use the liner brush to control the thick gel and flip my hand upside down to wait until the gel centers, and then it just gives the perfect shape. You don't want this builder gel to look very bumpy and unequal around the nail. You want the apex to be just perfect, and I'll show you guys a picture up here of what an apex should look like. And this definitely does take practice, but it's very rewarding to be able to do this, because it's literally having like a very high quality nails at home, and to be able to do it yourself, it's very rewarding. So this is a skill that does take a bit of practice, but it pays off for sure. And you guys can see the results of these nude. It's just, once I get started with the builder gel, I can't go back to just regular nude gel polish. And this is what I do with every single client. I think they should be getting their money's worth and not be getting some flimsy Gel-X extensions. I know some people complain that Gel-X is super thin and light, but if you do this step, it makes it look super high quality and like some volume to it. I'll put the link up here and also down below of the Biab manicure builder gel tutorial that I did in full detail a few weeks ago, and I think it will help a lot to explain and dissect how to get that perfect shape and how to use that liner brush to control the gel. So even though I individually cured all those, I'm gonna put it all into the lamp for 60 seconds, and and make sure that it's fully cured. And I like to do the thumb separately to make sure that it's fully cured as well. Sometimes when you put the whole hand in, the thumb won't be fully cured, so it's really good to just put only the thumb and make sure the light is hitting every single surface of that nail. Please let me know if you guys agree and think that this looks like a very expensive manicure that's done at home. And that's the effect that the builder gel can give. It just looks super plumpy and pigmented, and it doesn't look flimsy and thin like some gel extensions do. And when you're doing it at this length, I do appreciate the extra strength that the builder gel gives. Anyways, let's go into the design, and I'm applying this hot pink color from Beetles, and I'm gonna apply 2 coats of this on the ring finger and cure it for 60 seconds each. I'm grabbing my airbrush and I'm gonna make just a white color. I'm mixing it with some acetone and then mixing the gel polish in and just making sure that it's a consistent liquid. And my airbrush has been acting up a little bit, and I think it's a time to get a new one because I can't really control the spray, and it just like intensely sprays sometimes. So I feel like I did it a little bit too strong, more than I would have liked to, but I just cured that for 60 seconds after I sprayed it how I like it. And now I'm doing the middle finger and I'm applying a very thin layer of matte top coat to mattify the nail. And this is going to help me with my aura design. I use this eyeshadow palette that I got from Shein. I think it's specifically for nails because it's super pigmented. And I'm using just a brush, like an eyeshadow brush, and then dotting that in the middle to give it that blush look. And now I'm going in with that same white gel polish and I'm creating this design. I don't know what this design is called, but I think it kind of reminds me of a corset. So I'm just gonna call it like a corset Frenchy design. And you guys can just watch me work. I'm gonna just let you guys see how I use the brush. And I definitely recommend using a longer, thinner liner brush. It gives you better stability and better control of the gel. Just trust me on this and grab that long brush, even though it looks a little bit intimidating. Now for the index finger, I'm going to do a regular French nail design using this very beautiful red shade from Beetles. I love any kind of Beetles gel polish because they're so pigmented, and usually I only need 1 coat of it if I'm doing a French nail design. And I'm using that same liner brush, the thin long one that I used for the middle finger, and I'm creating that smile line, making sure that it's very symmetrical and clean. And now moving on to the thumb, I'm gonna wipe off the sticky layer of the builder gel, and I recommend doing this right after you cure the builder gel. I just forgot to do that, so I'm doing it now. But I'm going in with a very baby pink, light pink pastel color and applying 2 coats of that. Anytime I make a mistake and get some gel on my fingers, my skin, I go in with like an acetone brush. I just dip it in and then clean up around the skin, this is really important to do since you don't want to get contact dermatitis. You don't want to leave that gel onto your skin and keep it there. So anyways, now I'm going in with some blooming gel, applied a thin layer, and I just used a dotting tool to apply the white gel polish. And once you like it like that, it's good to cure it right away. And now we're going into all the decorating finishing touches using these pearly little charms, and I'm just using different sizes and applying it kind of all over the place. Wherever I think it looks good, I'm gonna apply it and cure it. And then for the ring finger where we did the aura design, I'm going in with some solid gel and making like an olive design, and I'm just rolling up 3 little rolls into the shape of an olive and then putting that on there and curing right away so they freeze in place. I really love using solid gel for any kind of design. You can make flowers, you can make fruits. It's a really fun tool to use, so I definitely recommend getting some solid gel, and I'm gonna link that on my Amazon storefront. I had the perfect shade of green to color this olive, and I'm just gonna apply 1 coat because this gel is quite pigmented. I'm just making sure it goes all around the corners, and I'm gonna cure that for 60 seconds. So now using some hard gel, I'm gonna do some 3D art, and I'm using the water glass hard gel. I also recommend the IBD hard gel. They're both really good, and I'm just creating these bubbles by going in a circular motion and laying enough gel down and making sure that I'm just going in circles until the gel is laid on the nail, and then I'll cure it immediately after with my flash cure lamp or your big lamp. I'm gonna do maybe 3 or 4 water droplets, and I'm gonna cure the whole hand for 60 seconds in the lamp to make sure that they're fully cured. Unfortunately, my storage ran out, so I couldn't film the end part where I apply the top coat, but basically after this I just added some diamonds and also on the olive part, and then I top coated everything with the turquoise top coat. And this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Please comment down below if you guys have any questions, and like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.